Hello my friends, and welcome to July here in North Carolina. It is hot and humid, so why not? Let's just rip out some shrubs and plant some new perennials. That's right my friends. What we're going to do today is we're going to take out some butterfly bushes in front of the limelight hydrangeas. They're just going in a different direction, shall we say. So we're going to pull those out. I have got my main man here with his fantastic equipment that's going to make very light work on that. So we're going to take out those butterfly bushes and we're going to plant the brand new introductions, a brand new Summerrific from Proven Winners. This is Summerrific Garnet Globes. This is going to be a gorgeous, nice, as its name suggests, garnet colored hibiscus that is nice, petite, and stocky. So love that fact. So Garnet Globes is, like I said, is the newest introduction of the Summerrifics, and it is going to be about like a 3x3. So very nice and compact. It has deep, deep red flowers on it, about half the size and a deeper color red if you're familiar with Valentine's Crush. So that kind of gives you the idea on that. So what we're going to do, we are right here along the creek bank, and you can see like the berm, the end of the berm is right there. The area we're going to be working in is here. So we have these lime lights, and y'all, they're massive. One reason that they're so massive is I didn't trim them this year. It never happened. Should I have pruned them? Absolutely. Did it happen? No, it did not. So if you miss a year in pruning your panicle hydrangeas, they're still going to bloom, my friends. Maybe not quite as prolific. I mean, they're just now starting. They're going to be gorgeous, but there is grace in gardening. So if you don't get your panicles pruned, it's okay. So what we have here, I believe these were Miss Violets. And when we first designed this bed, we put the Miss Violets here. But as you can see, the lime lights are loving life, and the violets, they're okay. They're not great. They're not my favorite. And two, really, because the hydrangeas are the star of the show, and the butterfly bushes are too close to the hydrangeas. And so really, they're just not living their best life. And like I said, we're going in a different direction. So I have got Jackson here. He is behind me on the excavator. He is going to pinch and pull out the budlias. Now, I am fully aware that I would say 99.99% of you viewers don't have an excavator at home to help you. Not a problem. Great shovel will do the trick. But, you know, I've got the equipment, I've got the operator, I'm gonna use it, my friends, because it is nice and hot and sticky in here in North Carolina. So what we're gonna do is I have got 4 of the Garnet Globes. We got these from our friends at Walter's Gardens as bare roots. Now, if you're not familiar with Summerrifics, they are a great perennial hibiscus that will be hardy in zones like 4 to 9. They are water hogs. They love water, and they have vigorous root systems. You might notice that mine are a little droopy right now. I just saturated, so they're nice and wet. They'll perk back up here in just a second. But we have them in 1 gallons, and they probably should have been planted like a month ago. So it's just behind a little bit, so just having to keep the water on them is a big deal. So if you have an area that is nice and damp, your Summerrifics are going to be a great option for you. I have not had a bloom yet, but I have got buds. So you can see we have got some beautiful buds right here. So before long, we will have some gorgeous color. So I've got 4. So basically they're gonna go in between the lime lights, really right where the butterfly bushes are. So Jackson's gonna pull them out. The reason that we're gonna put them here is because they're gonna be compact, smaller than the butterfly bushes, and just fit in nicely. Of course, we're going to pull them forward a little bit so we have plenty of room. So we'll have red here, and then also up in the privacy berm, if you can see, we have got the Summerrific Holy Grail up here. So that will kind of mirror, we'll have red hibiscus in the berm, and then we will have red hibiscus here. Remind me before we finish, and I will go show you an update on the Holy Grails, because they are gorgeous. So what I'm going to do, we're going to move with purpose today, because like I said, it's July. I don't care where you are. July is hot. So it is toasty. We're going to get this work done, and my alarm's going off. We're going to get this work done and get these babies in the ground. I'm gonna give you a couple of tips on if you are planting in July, some tips to help make sure that those plants survive the heat of the summer. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Jackson get in here and get these butterfly bushes out. All right, my friends, so I can hear you now, right? I can hear you. You're saying, Jenny, you are melting outside. Like you were clearly, it is hot. It is July in North Carolina. The humidity is out of the roof. Dew point is in the tropical range. Like, what are you doing, woman? Why are you putting plants in the ground right now? You've been telling us to hold off and wait. And that is all true. You are absolutely correct. I could easily wait and plant these in the fall, but I would need to go ahead and move these up into a bigger container because they are desperate to get out of this container. But there are some steps because sometimes, y'all, you just plant in the summer. You do. There is a hard, fast rule that there are no hard, fast rules. And I know that's an oxymoron and a contradiction. That's the whole point. But sometimes you just plant in the heat of the summer. So I'm going to share with you some tips on what to do. One, Jackson was a huge lifesaver, saved me a ton of time, and that was the 7-inch, the Jenny's Edition. And so I have a nice, good size hole for my 1 gallon. That 7-inch is a great size for a 1 gallon container. By doing that, my soil is nice and aerated. So what we're going to do, like we always typically do, whenever we plant, I have got some biotone. So we're going to take some biotone, we're going to throw it in the hole. Next, what I'm going to do is go ahead and take my garnet globes out of the pot. It is not root bound per se, but they are very vigorous. So I'm just going to come through and I'm going to gently break them up so those roots begin to go out. Now, before, like I told you, I watered these really, really well. So the roots already have plenty of moisture in them. We're going to put it in the ground how I want it. Then I have a 5-gallon container of water. I am going to go ahead, pour that in the hole. Saturate the hole. Bring back the native soil, let that get nice and wet as well. You don't want to push it in too fast, right? Because you don't want the water to squish out. You want the water to absorb. So we're doing that. Bring back that native soil. Here we go. Okay, now I've got some of the Ultra Outdoor planting mix because this soil here is very kind of sandy. We're right along the creek bank. So after years and hundreds of years, thousands upon thousands of years, right, a lot of the topsoil has ended up down here. So it seems to be a little bit more sandier and loose than what I typically have. So, move my biotone. I'm gonna take a half a bag. All right, so what we're doing is we're gonna top dress. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is mainly because this is not on irrigation, right? So when I get rain, which I'm getting tonight, and for the next 2 days, there's a massive high percentage of great storms, which that sounds like really weird to say, but rain, right? So we're gonna be getting some rain. So by adding this compost around, whatever moisture falls from the sky and comes in, it's gonna be retained by this black gold. All right, so we're adding that next layer of moisture, retention, nutrients, all of that. Now, here in the South with my clay soil, typically I will tell you not to plant, that you want to leave your shrubs, perennials, an inch or two above the soil so they don't drown. Well, hibiscus love water. They can be a bog plant. So I planted mine even, so that way they can try to get as much water as they possibly can. So we've done the biotone, we've saturated the plant, saturated the hole, put down some good compost. Now the next layer, literally and figuratively, is to bring in the mulch that I had scooted back. This is the Daddy Pete pine bark fines, which is what we have been using, and I figured I would probably lose some in the process, so I do have a bag that I'm going to kind of top dress anything that I need extra in here. So there you go, my friends. Those are some key points in if you have to plant in the heat, or you just want to plant in the heat, you absolutely can do it. Now, for the next really month, the month of July into August, I'm gonna have to watch these. If it does not rain, I have to make sure that they get enough water. If this plant dies, it's gonna be my fault. It's not gonna be the plant's fault, all right? So planting in July, August, you're gonna run that risk. So it's more work on you to make sure that they stay alive. But in this case, I'm happy to do it. We're gonna get the rest of these garnet globes in the ground. I'll meet you back here in a little bit. All right, my friends. Oh, I think it's about noon. It's about 12 o'clock, and it's toasty here, let me tell you. And so, but the good news is, look at those. 4 garnet globes in the ground. They are happy, they are well watered, they are not drooping, they have perked up. Feels great. So let me show you these, kind of walk through again what I did, and then we're gonna hit those holy grails. We're gonna have to go out in the sun for those, so brace yourself. Yes, so having these garnet globes, and you can see, I think especially with this first one right here, so the butterfly bush was actually, the main root system was here, and then it was just kind of laying out forward. So we brought this forward a good 2 feet. The way I measured it is from here, I did like 2.5 of my feet. So that's right about 2 feet a distance, so that way we'll have just enough, even at mature size, that this will just kiss the grass. And as these grow, if we need to, it is not going to be that big of a deal to kind of push this grass line out a little bit. That will be fine. We've talked about that before, because these lime lights are doing exactly what we wanted them to do and get nice and huge and big. So you can probably see on the leaves here with the Summerrifics that it was either the Japanese beetles or the little caterpillar that chews on the leaves. Your Summerrific, your perennial hibiscus are susceptible to the Japanese beetles, and I think it's the sawtooth fly caterpillar, which are itty bitty tiny little green caterpillars that will be on the back of your leaf, and they just skeletonize it. So if you want to protect them, what I use with my hibiscus is the Fertilome, the tree and shrub drench, and it will last for 12 months. And so you just mix it up according to the directions, and you pour it around the base of the plant. It soaks it up. So anything that is chewing on the leaves, it will get rid of them. And so that's how I protect my Summerrifics from those 2 pests, because that's what is attracted to your perennial hibiscus. So just loading up the water. So basically each garnet globes got 2.5 gallons of water. It's a 5-gallon bucket. I had 2 of them, divided out evenly, filled up the hole, and then after I put the black gold around it, I went ahead and topped off a little bit more, and then you can see adding that mulch on top. We had mulched this bed right before the signature experience, and so this is pretty fresh mulch here. But by digging in it and then adding the black gold, I wanted to make sure that everything was covered, so that one bag of the mulch was perfect to come back through and just make sure that everybody was covered and I did not have any exposed dirt showing. And so there you go. What I will do with these guys, as far as that's concerned, fingers crossed, please get some rain, because this is always how it does. We'll have like a wet spring and we're doing great. The plants are loving it. Everybody's great. And then somewhere around mid to late June, the rains just stop, and of course the heat comes up. Those are what our summers are like. And so that's what's happening. But this afternoon and then tomorrow and the next day, like I said, we have like upper 80%, 90% chance of rain and storms. So I just want rain. Gardeners are not, you know, we're not demanding or anything. We just would like a nice gentle rain between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. 2 to 3 times a week. That would be perfect. Not too hard, not too soft, enough to saturate the soil. We're not demanding at all, are we? We just, you know, Lord, hear our prayers. So let's just show you right quick the Holy Grails. So Summerrific Holy Grail is on both sides of the berm. So when you come to the nursery, you don't need to come on the house side. You can just stay on the nursery side because they are over there as well. These are just closer for me to get to. And so they've been in the ground. This is their third summer. Let's say their third summer, I believe it is. And Holy Grail is what we call like a gumdrop, because you can see that it is wider than it is tall. Has those nice, deep, really rich red blooms on it. They're a nice big size, near black foliage, and man, they just go. They just absolutely have been going to town, loving life. Their blooms will last for a day. So you can see like this would have been yesterday's bloom. Obviously, beautiful bloom today. The pollinators love these plants. But the thing is that it'll be covered in buds. So then like this, it will be tomorrow's bloom, right? So you have this continuous supply of blooms on it. And Holy Grail is really cool because you will have, once the flower falls off, the calyx, I think it's called the calyx, that this is where the flower used to be. See how it's kind of yellow? So that's what it's supposed to do. So you can have a little bit of brightness within that hibiscus. And so we have 3 in this section, then there's 3 on that side, and then up at the top there are 3 more over there on that side of the fence. So I have no doubt that garnet globes will be just wonderful. I do love that nice petite size because being that 3 by 3 is perfect, because even like the Holy Grail would be way too big to fit where I just put the garnet globes. So it's nice to have those options in sizes within your Summerrifics and your perennial hibiscus. So I believe they will be available next year, so 2026. I believe that's right. We'll find out, right? So if you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational, we would love it if you would like and subscribe. That way you don't miss those 5 videos that we do each and every week. I am going to go plunge my face in a bowl of ice water and take a cold shower because we're toasty, aren't we, Bee? Britta gets to go run around the creek and have fun that way. I don't think customers would like it if I was streaking through the creek up and down, squealing. Probably not a good sign. Y'all have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye, friends.